I've had many leading experts on this show, including Matthew Walker, and they've all said the same thing about sleep. They've said it's the biggest positive investment you can make in your own performance. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you're consistently tired, poor decision-making will follow and eventually cause other things to fail in your life. So if you're looking to optimize your recovery, you should start looking at what you're sleeping on. Our sponsor, Helix, makes high-quality mattresses tailored to your body. It doesn't matter if you run hot, sleep on your side, or need something firm. Helix has a mattress for you. And I asked them recently to send one to a member of my team, and Juan received it. And we travel a lot, so when he's home, quality sleep really matters. And he told me he's getting the best sleep of his life. And the data backs it up, with 82% of people in a Helix study saying they saw an increase in their deep sleep. And with a 120-night trial, you've got 4 months to prove it to yourself. You can get 27% off at helixsleep.com/diary. That's helixsleep.com/diary.
For the last couple of years, I've been working on something that I realized every podcaster listening to this, but actually probably every creator listening to this, might just need. Podcasting is difficult for many reasons. And one of them is that these hosting platforms don't give you much information. And also, because they're so fragmented, you kind of have to go through every single platform, uploading it to YouTube and then taking the same big old video file and uploading it to Spotify's platform. It takes huge amounts of time. And that friction means most of us don't do it. That is the problem we set out to solve. And so we built something called Flightcast, which you can find at flightcast.com. And today, Flightcast is also one of our show sponsors. And some of the world's biggest podcasters are now using our platform to run their shows because it gives you an edge. It saves you time. It gives you analytics most people won't typically get. It allows you to use AI to be more informed on your show. And it has growth tools that other hosting platforms don't have. So podcasters that are using Flightcast have this unfair advantage. So go to flightcast.com/DOAC now.
Sarah Bahbah is the definition of an artist. I can't remember meeting someone who is so uniquely creative, so unapologetically ambitious, so deeply analytical of their own emotions, with such an inspiring and powerful backstory. I flew to her house in LA to chat to her, alone, in her front room, at her kitchen table, and she opened up to me about childhood sexual abuse she suffered, the power of her intuition, a drug addiction she overcame, and much, much more. I think I fell in love with Sarah a little bit after this conversation, if I'm honest with you. And there's a reason I chose her to be the first guest on season 2 of The Diary of a CEO. She's real, powerful yet vulnerable, and she's already a superstar in her own right. She's amassed millions of fans online through her artwork, and through her LA-based content creation agency Posse, the likes of Gucci, Condé Nast, Capitol Records, and even Topshop have joined her movement. She hosts self-funded solo exhibitions internationally with tens of thousands in attendance. And she's had her work displayed in major art exhibitions all around the world with celebrity admirers including Emma Watson, Katy Perry, Diplo, Sophia Bush, just to name a few. Her powerfully liberating message has caught fire amongst our generation. Her work speaks to love, pain, heartache, rejection, and everything in between. Everything we've all felt. And how does she do it? Why her? What makes Sarah so special? How can a 26-year-old Palestinian-Australian artist reach so many people and achieve so much so quickly at such a young age? What happened? What's driving her? Is it luck? You have to hear this. Without further ado, this is The Diary of a CEO Season 2, and I'm Stephen Bartlett. I hope nobody is listening, but if you are, then please keep this to yourself. Sarah, lovely to meet you. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the time today. It's lovely to be here in LA with you in your wonderful artistic apartment. I didn't really expect anything less, to be honest. So thank you, first of all.
Thank you for coming.
No worries. So you're obviously incredibly artistic. When I was saying to you before, when I told the girls in our New York office that I was coming here, there was unmatched hysteria, and honestly, they literally went crazy in the office. And before today, I'd seen some of your pieces across Instagram and some of your other work across the internet. But it wasn't until I saw their level of hysteria that I realized how much of a big deal you are to a lot of people. And that's me being completely honest. And so, with creatives and artists like yourself, I always think, and this is, again, might be a naive thing to say, that there are things that have happened in your life that have made you view the world through a different perspective or become more self-aware or more curious. What are those things in your life that you think led you to becoming who you're known for today?
That's a great question. I think, I grew up in Australia, in Perth, with all my family, and my background is Arabic. I'm Palestinian and Jordanian, and so I grew up in a very conservative home, and my mom was extremely Christian. She still is. And my dad was agnostic. So I had two conflicting views, because one parent was telling me that I had to live with the fear of God in my heart, and the other one was just very chill. So, but very strict in terms of like the culture, the Middle Eastern culture, and what that meant. So I grew up with a lot of restrictions, a lot of limitations, and a lot of fear that I would essentially go to hell if I misbehaved. And so with that, there was also things that was happening behind closed doors that, aren't necessarily a reflection of my culture, but a reflection of men who are restricted to express their sexuality. And so I feel like a lot of the children in my family suffered because of that. And I was a victim of that too. And I wasn't aware of that until I didn't feel safe in my home. I had all these people around me, and I still felt like I was worrying for everyone, and I was constantly in fight or flight mode. I was constantly having panic attacks as a 5-year-old. I didn't understand why. And I couldn't feel safety in my home, so I decided to leave, and I moved to Melbourne. I'm still very close to my family, though. And I moved to Melbourne, and I couldn't find safety there either. And, I was trying to constantly escape my anxiety, so I dived into, numbing myself. And, I don't really talk too much about this, but I essentially had, this Xanax addiction, and it went on for 3 years, and it really numbed a big part of my anxiety. And then when I moved to LA for the next chapter of my life, I was still in the state where I was constantly battling with myself, and I realized I was just going down this very dark hole, and I didn't know why, and I didn't know why I had certain desires and why I was behaving a certain way, and why I was constantly choosing to escape, not just through drugs, but through alcohol too, and through food. I battled with eating disorders my entire life, and then through impulsive decision making. I had this weird thing with first dates, and how I would invite random strangers into my bed, but then I wouldn't have sex with them. And so I learned that was me reenacting trauma. So all these things that I was fighting eventually led me to go and figure my shit out. And I took myself to the desert for 10 days, and I went cold turkey on everything. And when I was there, I had I had triggered my trauma brain, because I was alone in the desert, coming off drugs, and waking up to a bed full of bed bugs. And so that triggered that lack of safety again, because my space had been invaded. And so my trauma brain was active the entire time I was away, while I was coming off drugs. And then I started to remember my childhood in that state. And all these memories kind of came out, and I was freaking out, because I was having these flashbacks of being I don't know how, I mean, it's a taboo, but I'm going to talk about it. I was being molested as a child, and I remember calling my sister and being what am I feeling? Why am I having these memories? And then we kept working on it throughout the trip. And I don't know, I got back home, and I decided to change everything in my life. And, I went, I went cold turkey. I started seeing a therapist full time. I started seeing a personal trainer full time. I moved houses, because I was living with guys who were constantly around drugs. And And then, I was able to uncover a lot about my trauma. And, it was validated when I spoke to my parents. And so all of this stuff came up. And I realized that was a big part of my story that I was blocking out. And so when you see my art, you're seeing me before I realized my trauma and then after. And you see there's like such a huge progression in the way that I tell my story. It goes from being really innocent and youthful and like very coming of age to really like dark and depressing to then me owning my power. And so there is growth in my art because my art is real to me and my art is my story. And so you see me uncover me throughout my art as you go on.
And on that point of seeing a therapist full time, do you still see a therapist now?
I do. I only see her once every 2 weeks though. But I was seeing her twice a week and then sometimes 3 times. And then over the years as we got, I've been doing the self-work for 2 years now. But the more we uncovered, the less I felt like I needed to see her. And now I'm in a really good place, but you still have to have someone you can check in with. Sure. And so I see her still like once every 2 weeks.
And you're 26 now?
Yeah.
Incredibly young. I'm also 26, so I'm actually just talking to myself there. But what age were you when you started to really sort of take control and sort of ownership and understand the things that had happened previously, the impact that they had on you, and start to, I don't know if that's the right word to say, but like understand and therefore take a little bit more control over the impact they had on your life?
Yeah, I think I started doing the self-work 2 years ago, so at 24. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
And then, but prior to that, I was kind of, when I think about my time on Earth, I should say it's all very hazy. I feel like I was kind of living in ignorance and oblivion. And so it wasn't until I stopped to ask myself, hey, why are you doing this? Or why do you think this way? Or why are you choosing to not focus on or spend time with yourself? And when I realized that, I was like, okay, I got to figure this out because I don't think this is the way to live.
And what kind of person are you in terms of like, some people say that they're confident and they're motivated and ambitious and creative. If you had to like describe yourself in a couple of words, who are you?
I feel like in a couple of words, I'm I'm trying to think of the word. I'm maternal. I'm very protective over myself and people in my life. I'm pretty laid back. I try and really like just go in terms of my personality. I don't necessarily like to label myself as anything. I like to just focus on being present and feeling, because feeling is something that I struggled with. I was very apathetic growing up. And so I like to just always try and be here and react based on feeling, and as opposed to intellectualizing feeling, because that's something I also did.
Sure.
Yeah. Is that, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was asking. Would you consider yourself a confident person?
Yeah.
Do you think is that something you've had to work on, or is it something you've always had, or is it?
I think I've always had it. Since I was little, I was extremely competitive.
Right.
But I was confident, but I also loved to be alone. And I'm like introverted, extroverted. Like when I'm with the right people, I'm like the loudest one at the table. But then I need to be alone. Like 70% of my day, I need to just be with myself and not really like give my energy to anyone.
How is that? Because I'm the same.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are, but I'm an extrovert and an introvert at the same time. I love being on my own with my laptop in a dark room. How has that impacted your ability to like form relationships with people? Because I imagine, and this is just a guess, but with people who are often quite talented and quite inspired and quite creative, they're on one hand also a little bit different, and a little bit harder to understand. So that sometimes makes it harder to form relationships with them if they're operating on a slightly different wavelength.
Yeah.
Have you had that problem with friendships and romantic partners and such?
I really, I just allow like my intuition to dictate who I want to connect with and who I don't. And like, for me, it's very easy to identify relationships that I know are going to be immediate and instant. And then other times, if I don't feel a calling to you, I know not to exchange that energy. And so it really does come down to the way I'm feeling in the moment. I can't really decipher it based on anything other than that.
And you are an artist in many senses of the word. I want to understand the full sort of spectrum of the art that you create. So could you take me through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So with my art, as I said previously, it is me expressing myself and my story. So my art is centered around me having repressed my emotions and being extremely apathetic to what I'm feeling, to suddenly feeling everything at once. And it's when I'm feeling everything at once is when a story is about to be told. And so when I sit with myself, and it's usually during a breakup or a grievance or feeling like I've been misunderstood, or feeling like this huge desire to just be like, I have to like write, I have to tell my story. And one after the other, these lines start coming out of my brain, like these one-liners, and I write them in my notes on my phone. And I could probably pull out like a random one from a while ago.
Go for it, please.
Just to give you an idea. So I'm going into my notes right now.
I would love to see the notes in your phone. I'd love to scroll to the bottom. And
people would literally think I'm insane. Like, there's so much like what the fuck is she talking about? Like, it's so, some of them are so deep and twisted, and then others are just like sassy and then hang on, let me find a page. I even write raps, but we can go into that later.
What in your selection process of showing me which note you're going to choose? How are you deciding what to show me? Are you trying to find something that's like a middle ground? People won't.
Well, I'm just trying to find like one where I've got like 30 notes on it.
Okay.
Because they usually come like one after the other. There's so many. No, because that's not out yet, so I can't share that.
On the exclusive.
Okay, so this one came, like, I wrote this in September, and it was based on this guy that I was seeing telling me that he was also seeing someone else, and I was just like a little bit
prick.
No, it was
Awesome.
okay because like, we weren't even seeing each other. We just have like, he's a big part of my like family community here. And we'd always just end up in the cuddle puddle and make out and whatever.
Well, you've got to explain what the cuddle puddle is, because people, if you think about what you've just said, if you don't give that context.
The cuddle puddle is literally, as you imagine it, it is a big giant sheepskin rug, and there's a Tempur-Pedic mattress under it, and there's like 20, 30 pillows on top, and then like throws. And it is the spot in my apartment where everyone congregates to cuddle. Yeah,
it does look very comfortable. It's about 10 feet behind us. So there was the night he told me I'd had a few wines, and so I just really needed to be able to check in with how I was feeling. So these lines just started coming out, and so this one I used in the Dear Love series with Noah Centineo, and it's, "You've never seen me not want you. Are you ready now?" So I was like salty. I was feeling like a little bit like... That's the wine.
And then he texted me being like, "Hey, I feel like I didn't explain myself. Can we meet up for coffee?" And then I didn't even respond to him. I just responded in my notes. And I'm like, "I'm not going to let you buy me coffee while you tell me I can't have what I want." So there's that. And then there's, "I can't let my energy live in you while you live in someone else." And so I actually sent that to him. And then... I don't know what this one means, but my right and my left hand aren't the same people. So I don't know that one. I'm drawing a complete blank on. But that's just an example of me having been in the moment and asking myself, how am I feeling? Because that's something I never did. And so instead of like waiting 3 months into a relationship, I was checking in with myself as it was happening. Because in the past, I was not checking with myself at all, and then I'd sit down and suddenly I had like a burst, and that's when you go through my notes and you'll see pages with like 30 different lines. So yeah, that process has really evolved for me.
And how
how important do you think it is for people to like keep track on how they feel? Because even doing this podcast, some of these episodes are recorded alone at night. So I record them alone at night, 3 a.m. in my house back in the UK.
Yeah.
And I used to say it was like therapy for me, because even the way that it used to work is I would record my diary all week, and then at the end of the week I would share those diary notes, and they were very deep personal things. And upon getting it out, I would feel like I'd been through therapy or something.
Yeah.
And I think it's so unbelievably important to like as you say, like understand when things happen to you, how it's made you feel. And if you're able to have that conversation with yourself, you're almost able to control the behavior.
Yeah.
As opposed to reacting, you respond. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think what we are taught to do, or we're conditioned to do as humans living in this society, is to constantly distract ourselves from the way we're feeling. And we do that through our phones, through binging on Netflix, through drinking, through drugs, through everything. We're constantly escaping. And whenever we feel a sense of anxiety or excitement or happiness, we don't just sit with ourselves and we don't feel what we're feeling. We instantly run to our phones to tell people. Or like if it's sadness that we want to feel, instead of being like, hey, I'm here for you, I see you, inner child, we jump to Netflix to watch like a drama romance that's going to make us cry, which is also fine, but it's the process, and we skip a process. And instead of going from I'm feeling sad to watching a sad movie, it's I'm feeling sad, I'm going to like be with myself, and I'm going to feel what I'm going to feel, and I'm going to cry if I need to. And then I'm going to watch a Netflix show that makes me feel even sadder or helps me express. But we don't have that dependency on ourselves. We have that dependency with everything around us. And we seek validation through escaping as opposed to finding it within ourselves. And I think it's so important that we learn to disconnect from the outer world and connect with ourselves to tap into how we're supposed to be feeling when we're feeling. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And so with all that said, do you think the reason that you've been successful with your art and it's reached so many people is because you've gone on that journey of understanding yourself? You're clearly very good at the expression part of that understanding, which some people aren't. Some people might be able to understand why they're feeling what they're feeling, but they can't express it in an artistic way, which then, in your case, has resonated with a huge amount of people. And really, your understanding of you has helped other people understand them and what they're feeling. It's kind of encapsulated a feeling and allowed them the kind of the canvas of their own like self-expression, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So I think with all of the series that you see on my site and in galleries and whatnot, I think they've all come from me having been able to trust in my intuition that the time to tell my story is now. And so, when these series come about, it's usually within 24 to 48 hours.
Really?
Yes.
Of you feeling that something? Or?
Of me being like, I've got to tell my story now. It's like, I can't sleep. I've got to get it done. I call everyone I know. With every single series I've done, it's been a 24, 48 hour process. Noah Centineo, the last shoot I did, Dear Love, we met on the Friday for coffee. He was like, let's shoot Sunday. I'm like, okay, we're shooting Sunday. And then on Monday, I edited the photos. On Tuesday, we had a preview party. And then on Wednesday, they were out online. So that was like,
Crazy.
the turnaround is so fast. And
why?
It's because I can't explain it beyond the universe just giving me a kick up the butt. And it's like, do it now or it's not going to happen. And so it's just you trusting your intuition and being like, I've got to get it done. And you'll be rewarded after that. So I think in me trusting, to answer your question now, in me trusting my intuition to create and then to express myself publicly is me giving myself voice that I never had. And because the process is so personal and it's so real to me, in a society where we are conditioned to manipulate our image to seem like it's perfection, and like, especially on Instagram, like you see so much content that's so curated and so it's not really real to the person. It's an ideal of who they want to be and how they want to portray themselves. But when you see my work, you're seeing me and me healing from my trauma and me giving myself a voice. and the voice that people are too afraid to give themselves. And so I think that's why people stop and pay attention, because they're like, I feel that way too. And most of the time people are like, I see me in your work, or this is so me, or, you know, so in me helping myself heal, I'm helping others to heal too. I'm giving them words that they otherwise can't come up with. And I think that's what makes people stop and focus.
And is that the part that gives you your fulfillment, is knowing that you're helping other people heal? Or is that more selfish?
Honestly, I think it's more selfish. I think my process is so personal, and, you know, in me creating, I'm healing. And then, yeah, it's like when I put it out there, it's me giving myself a voice. And if that's empowering others, that's, you know, that is a fucking blessing. I'm so happy that I can do that.
But I imagine that was never your intention, right? And your intention was much more pure and selfish, and it just so happens that because your intention was so pure, so real and so honest, you didn't start to try and make a bucket load of money, right? That's why it's been able to really connect with people. And often that seems to be the case with art when it's created from like a real place, you know?
Yeah, my intention was never about money for me. It was expressing my story. And the fact that I've been able to monetize is like, it's another blessing. Like, I'm really grateful for that. So,
you talk about intuition a lot, and how that's guided so much of your like decision making generally. It seems to be a very, you know, common word in your vocabulary.
Yeah.
How does one tune into my intuition?
I think it goes back to what I was saying about choosing to be with yourself instead of choosing to be with your surroundings. And I mean, that's fine too, but it's more like to tap into your intuition, you have to have a sense of your being, and you have to know to distinguish your ego from your body, from your soul, because the three entities are completely different. And then some will argue that emotion is its own entity, and I haven't quite figured out where I stand with that, because I feel like you can react emotionally through body, and you can react emotionally through soul, and emotionally through mind. So I feel like emotion is like the umbrella, and then everything falls under that. But in order to tap into your intuition, it's spending time with yourself and breathing through your being, and essentially meditating. But people are scared of the word meditation for some reason. I feel like people think it's a lot of work and it's like too spiritual, but really all meditation is grounding yourself and being like, I am here with me. I'm not here with Netflix. I'm here with me. I keep using Netflix as a reference because that's my biggest game.
Yeah.
I watch so much TV, but you know, but it's about, it's about removing everything around you and just being like, hey, how are you?
How do you meditate?
By doing that. It's the day I just lay on my couch and I breathe into my belly and I'm just like, hey, how are you? Like, what are you feeling right now?
And do you talk to, is that like an internal dialogue?
Yeah, it's just, it's honestly just me hanging out with me, and it's my mind hanging out with my soul, and those two are having a conversation.
Got you. One of the things that fascinates me is you've grown a huge following on Instagram very, very quickly, it would seem, right, from an outsider's perspective. And that's always the way it seems with success. It appears to be very quick. But you're also very self-made. You don't have huge investment backing, as far as I'm aware. You fund your own galleries, you fund your own shows and things like that. Can you talk me through the journey you've gone on from like creating your first piece of art to where you are now? Was there a moment where you blew up? Was there a break you got or something? Where was the moment where you felt that you know, this is really working? this is kind of working out, or this is exceeding my expectations?
Yeah, I have a good one. Mine was like a big breakthrough. Okay. So Sex and Takeout was my first viral series. It is a series I created to capture indulgent moments within yourself and with your partner, if you have one. And I wanted to be able to empower women to feel comfortable in these ideas of eating what you want when you want without feeling shame or guilt, because that's the conditioning society gave us. So when I was shooting this series, it was about 2 weeks of me being like, oh my God, how has no one done this? How has no one done this? This is so genius. And like, I just gathered everyone in my neighborhood. Like, I asked friends of friends if they would just model for me. And I was like, look, like, I need you to sign a release form. And I never had anyone sign release forms before. And I was just like, it's going to go viral. It's going to appear on this and this and this. I just have a feeling. And they were like, yeah, fuck yeah. And so like I shot all of it. I think it was about 20 different, 15 to 20 different final pieces. And I shot all of it within 2 weeks. And then I did an exclusive online with this publication. And I think we released it in October 2014. And it picked up momentum, but it didn't go as crazy as I thought it would. And I was like, this is interesting. I'm just going to be patient. And I was with my ex at the time. We were together for almost a year. And it was almost like the universe was waiting for me to break up with him before I blew up the fucking internet. And so I broke up with him in December. And in January, I planted an article on BuzzFeed, just one random night. It was like Tuesday night or something. I planted an article on BuzzFeed community where it's like you contribute your own post. And I just like set it up like a BuzzFeed article because my background was in social media strategy. So I knew exactly how to do it. And I was like, this is Sex and Takeout, blah, 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 blah. And I went to bed. And I don't know what possessed me to do it that night because I'd been doing it up like for 2 months. But that night I decided to do it. And I went to bed and I woke up. I'm not kidding. I woke up to like thousands of emails, notifications, like 50,000 new followers in 24 hours. And I'm like, crazy, what is happening? Like, what is actually happening to have that? Like, and so I quickly jump on Facebook and all my friends are tagging me in Elite Daily. Oh, yeah. Because they were the first to do the post. So they found it on BuzzFeed Community, took it. And then they were like the ones that made it viral. So Elite Daily did it first. And then I was just like, that was the source as far as I'm aware. And then every other publication that existed did something too. There was Juxtapoz, there was Days, there was Huffington Post and Israeli Times, like everywhere. And I'm just like, what is happening? And so after that, I got picked up by a gallery. We started exhibiting the works internationally, so within America, UK, and even like Israel. And then, I guess that's how my art career kind of evolved.
And how long ago was that?
That was 2014. 2014. Oh, so 2015 was January 2015 was when it went viral. And the week it went viral, and this is just like a fun little sugarcoating, but I ran into my ex.
Really? Did you tell him to fuck off?
Well, he chased me out of the venue, and I was just like, fuck you. I don't
need you anymore.
No, he was just the most toxic human, so it was like my kind of revenge knowing that. And that's so salty of me, but I was young at the time, so I was just loving the idea that he was seeing me everywhere that week.
That's always the best time when you're young, isn't it?
Oh, it was so good.
But on that point, something that I hear a lot with people that have success in their own disciplines is that they got lucky, right?
Yeah.
And people have said this to me. I actually responded to a comment on Instagram yesterday because I hate that, like, that. I know luck is a factor, right? But this guy commented something about, some of my friends, they just get a lucky break and then they're, really successful. And they're almost trying to kind of like demean everyone's or like push down everyone's hard work by just passing it off as luck, but also making an excuse for why they aren't there.
Yeah, that's projection though.
Yeah. So has anyone ever said that to you? And what role do you think luck has played in, actually, before I'm going to tell you my idea of luck in your situation there.
Okay.
Right. So one of the things where I got really lucky, I was up really late at night and I signed up to a website. It reminds me of what you've just said then. Signed up to a website when I was 18 years old and I uploaded my details at about 3 a.m. in the morning and then I went to bed. And then 2 days later, it just so happened this entrepreneur had dropped out, this 17-year-old entrepreneur. They needed someone else. So they went onto that website to find someone, found me, emailed me, brought me to London when I was 18. And I spoke in front of all of these people. I got 3 investors and my business really took off. But I was up at 3 a.m.
signing up to websites, when the people who say luck is look, whatever, they're all asleep.
Yeah.
And in the same way, you were on BuzzFeed uploading your work when
it was probably 3 a.m. too.
Probably, yeah, right, exactly. And everyone else was asleep.
Yeah.
So people will look at you and say, oh, well, it was that BuzzFeed Elite Daily article that made you lucky. But really, it was like no one else was uploading their stuff to BuzzFeed.
No.
You know, so...
Well, I personally don't think luck exists.
Mm-hmm.
I think people who call it luck don't know what hard work is. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to just keep referring to the universe, sure. But it's also energy. So let's just say I dedicated 2 weeks curating 20 shoots mm-hmm. in October. Mm-hmm. I then strategized the release. Mm-hmm. And then I went online 2 months later because it wasn't going where I wanted it to go. And I strategized again. Mm-hmm. And then it took off. Mm-hmm. But that was 4 months, a 4-month process, October, November, December, January, where I was hustling mm-hmm. and I was trying to make this work and I was trying to break through the internet. Mm-hmm. That's hard work. Mm-hmm. That's not luck. Mm-hmm. That's energy. Mm-hmm. You're pushing all your energy into believing this idea is real. Mm-hmm. And then getting it done, which is the hardest part. It's mm-hmm. the doing it that's hard. Like having an idea and then executing it is where most people don't even get to that point. Sure. There's so much resistance. I'm reading The War of Art right now.
Yeah. I saw it on your table over there.
And it's all about that. It's about breaking through the resistance and the self-talk and the doubt. Mm-hmm. Doing that alone is like consuming, and that is fucking hard. And so when you do that and you believe in something and then you get it done and then you keep strategizing and pushing it until it becomes what you envisioned, like that's work. That's mm-hmm. not luck. I really don't believe it's luck at all.
Yeah, it's one of those things that really pisses me off. So.
Yeah. I'm just like, people don't like go to bed and wake up billionaires. That's not how it happens. Yeah. Like I've been doing this for 10 fucking years, mm-hmm. you know, and mm-hmm. the same way you've been mm-hmm. fucking working. We all are working. This ideal that we wake up successful doesn't exist.
And that surely that's because the majority of people, right, because of the nature of your growth and your notoriety, they've only seen somewhere near the end.
Yeah.
Right? So the majority of people didn't see the other 10 years because the other, going back to year one of you being an artist wasn't that interesting. And you probably weren't that good, to be honest, in many senses of the word, yeah. right? So I think that's also, I think, one of the downfalls of social media in many respects is you tend to see the highlight reel, but also a successful person, they come into the public eye at the end. Mm. And I will always remember watching this video of Justin Bieber because I was probably 18 and a bit salty that Justin Bieber was killing it. And I saw this video of him on YouTube, and he was about 8 years old, and he sat on these stairs in Canada with a little hat in front of him, asking people to put dollars into it while he's singing his heart out. And like from that moment onwards, it changed my whole perspective of like envy and successful people, because Justin Bieber's someone that I thought got lucky. He did a little song and dance in front of Usher, became a global superstar, but he learned every instrument at the age of like 8 years old, and then went out on the streets and started playing his guitar when I was probably at home playing with like Action Man or Lego. Yeah. And so I always think there's a bigger story, and I try not to judge now.
Yeah, of course.
What's something that you're really, really bad at?
Something I'm really bad at. I'm singing.
Singing. Can we hear your thing?
No, it's so weird. Some days I wake up and I have a singing voice, and other days I cannot sing in pitch whatsoever.
I mean, every day I think I have a singing voice, but then it's other people tell me I don't.
Yeah. So. It's weird. Yeah.
I bet you can sing, can't you?
Not.
See, you can. You're.
Well, I just don't. I don't. I've heard terrible singing. I'm not a terrible singer. I'm just not a great singer.
Will you sing now?
No.
It's worth a try. I didn't think you would.
What else am I bad at? This shouldn't be a hard question. I'm sure there's a lot of things. I just don't like to focus on the negatives.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like I'm unorganized. I can be a little bit selfish. Most of my life has been pretty much about me.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things.
I think, honestly, I really try. I'm a perfectionist in a lot of ways, with my relationships, with my work, with even the way I communicate with myself and the way
Sure.
there's a lot of control there. So I think I'm bad at letting go of control.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I imagine that is that has a lot of negative impacts on a lot of things in your life.
It's actually just it's between myself with
It's you. Oh, okay. So it's an
internally.
internal thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're controlling in a relationship.
I don't. No one looks at me and thinks I'm controlling.
Okay.
It's just something I know I am.
Sure.
Personally and privately and quietly. I just like to control the amount of energy I exchange with people. I like to control my space. I like to control the way I organize things and like.
Sure. Oh wow, you are organised.
Yeah, this is just we're looking at my personal projects board, and I have post-it notes for the different personal projects that I want to complete. So this is completely separate to my commercial work.
Are you a procrastinator?
Typically, no.
Wow.
But the past 3 months, I have been struggling to complete a project that I know is going to be successful. And it's only because it's the first time I'm doing this, which is writing a TV show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that can you tell us more?
I can tell you it's based on my alter ego.
Okay, what's your alter ego? Are you able to tell us what your alter ego is?
I can tell you that there are moments where I'll be sitting in a room and I want to burst out and do something, and then I just have too much fear to do it, and so this is the alternative me.
Okay.
But through a very strong concept, which I cannot talk about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. And when will we be able to see this?
Well, my goal is to have it done before my 27th birthday, which is a month away. So
Okay.
I'm not writing the entire script. I'm writing the treatment and hopefully shooting the sizzle next month. So
Do you have, as like an entrepreneur and an artist, do you have a long-term goal? Is there a place you'll get to where you think, or are you there now where you just think everything is perfect, I've done everything I need to do, I've achieved everything I've needed to achieve? Is there like a finish line for you at all?
Well, I believe that everything should have an end goal, and I don't want to be doing the same thing for my entire life. So, there's a few more stories I want to tell through my current way of expressing, which is the subtitles and photos. They involve, shooting more women of color representing, my culture in the Middle East, and talking more to the taboos around child sexual abuse. And I've already tapped into all of it, but I want to push and I want to go deeper and darker based on my process and my journey to overcoming a lot of the things about myself. So there's that. And then, beyond that, I don't see the photography element being the thing that I live, I continue to do. It's going to end soon enough. And then I want to move into this TV pilot, and I want that to be my ultimate thing for next year. And then I also want to ghostwrite for rappers, and I write poetry, I write raps. I'm so immersed in that world, but at the moment it's just for myself. But I know there's so much skill there that I want to. These one-liners are songs; they all can easily become songs.
Sure.
And so I want to be able to create a book, which I'll take to a publishers, and just be like, here, put me in a studio with this person, let's go. And I'm talking I want to work for Rihanna and Nicki Minaj and Lana Del Rey, not Kanye.
You don't like him?
Oh my God, I wrote the best fucking rap the other day, and
Can
I'm
I-
just
can I hear it?
no, because it's so good.
Oh God.
I have to save it because
Sure.
I'm already manifesting. I'm going to be in rooms with these people. That to me doesn't sound crazy. I know I can do it. And so it's just a matter of process and time. But then I also have designed my future home. And I want to win fucking awards for it because it's so unique. But I'm not an architecture.
You're an artist.
Yeah, but I
Period,
think creativity shouldn't be limited to just one thing. And we should aim to have end goals so we can push ourselves to do the next thing. And that's where I'm at. So I want to do so many things.
Someone that you said you've been through a lot of stuff, especially in your sort of early years. Usually, and this again is probably bit of a sweeping statement, but those things will, not that I would know, like I can't pretend to know, but might knock someone's confidence or at least their own belief in themselves. And what you've just said there is, I know I can do it. You are someone that's been through so much, but for some, somehow is also held on to their belief in themselves, if that makes sense. Almost like a pretty, and this is not an offensive thing because I feel the same way about me, but like almost to like a delusional perspective. Like the world would tell you shouldn't believe that you'll be in a room with Rihanna and you'll win awards for your own house. But there is zero doubt. I have zero doubt that you believe that. Where does that? Do you know where that self-belief comes from? I think self-belief is one of the, because it really leads to like that self-doubt, which then fosters regret, is one of the things that most people that message me, that want to do great things, are missing. It's that you talked about execution and idea. That's the thing for me that sometimes takes you from the idea to the execution phase. Where has that self-belief come from in you? And what's your do you believe in your,
Okay, my self-belief has come from, and we keep talking about it, but it is intuition. And it's me having everything that has happened to me in my life up until right now, I have foreseen for myself. And whether it's delusional to the state of believing, or if it's actual manifestation and manifestation is real, or if it's I have access to fucking future realms, which I don't know if I do. Like, all I know is that I've always known what I've had to do. And when I moved from Perth to Melbourne, that happened in a week. I'm like, I have to go now. I'll see you guys later. And I moved to Melbourne. And then when I moved to LA, I don't even know why I need to move to LA. I just know I have to be there. I moved to LA. Sex and Takeout. I don't know why I have to shoot this series. I just know it's going to go viral. Let's shoot it. Every other caption series, everything. It's just trusting that I'm supposed to be doing it, not knowing why. And the thing that stops people, the resistance comes from not trusting the uncertainty, but we have to trust it. We have to trust that we don't know what's going to happen to us. But if there's an inkling in you that's telling you to do it, you do it. Like, you trust that. You don't trust the negative self-talk. You trust that little thing that made you like excited for a minute, because that's real. And that is the universe communicating with you. That is energy communicating with you that you have to do the work.
But what if I fail?
If you fail, you start again. You do it. But I don't know, because I can't say I have with any of these projects. And is that luck? I'm doing quotes. I really can't explain it. It's just trusting. And I mean, I have failed with other projects, but then I always almost knew that they weren't going to be as successful because there was like a resistance greater than I was aware of, I
guess it also depends what you just keep define as failure.
Yeah, you just keep going, because series that didn't take off the way I thought they would, I delayed them, and I took like years to actually put them on the internet. Why did I take years to put them on the internet? Because I didn't really believe in it. So it's like you have to believe in the concept, and it has to. And what makes a successful concept? Uniqueness and relatability. Bring those two together. Something that's unique and something that's relatable. You have a successful concept. Has it been done? No. Is it relatable?
But you're a bit but Sarah, you're a bit of a genius. So like, I can think of some people, and I'm sure you can as well, that will believe in something and it's terrible. do you know what I mean? Terrible by definition of most people's success. Like, nobody cares, it doesn't relate. But through their own perspective, and I'm thinking about somebody I know in particular, but they create these ideas and they are 100%. They're like, this is it. And I see it and I think, no. And then they put it out into the world and it misses. So what is it that's making you hit? And I guess in your mind, it's, from your perspective, it's you're more connected to yourself. I think you have a heightened sense of people and self-awareness. Like you're probably very good at understanding people because you're probably quite good at understanding yourself, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, it's when people have bad ideas and they believe it's good, I say good on them because they're still committing to something they believe in. And if it ends up failing, that's on them to deal with that and then to make sure they know that they can carry on with something else. Like, it's just the not giving up part, and it's that the energy we invest into something we believe in. And yeah.
What's something in the next couple of years or the next 10 years that you really want to do, something you really want to accomplish? We talked about the House Awards. You're going to be a rapper / ghostwriter.
I'll be a ghostwriter. I won't be a rapper ever. I can't actually rap. I just know how to write them.
When I Googled you earlier, I struggled to find photos of you. And then when we walked in here, Lauren said, "Oh, can we take a photo?" And you're a little bit shy about that.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why couldn't I find loads of photos of you on the internet?
I don't know. It's not even like intentional. I just don't. I like to express I like to control the energy that I'm trying to express in my stories. So I don't shoot me, I shoot other people because I'm able to see it. But if it was the other way around, I couldn't do it justice. So,
are you scared of anything?
Am I scared of anything?
Yeah. What are the things that you worry about?
What are the things I worry about? I worry about my safety. That's conditioning.
Sure.
I worry about, but I don't think that's why I don't put. There are photos of me that
this is just a different. I went off in a different direction. The two aren't connected.
No, I mean I've struggled with anxiety my entire life. So it's conditioning based on. It's a coping mechanism based on my trauma as a child. And so I uncontrollably have anxiety. And that comes from not feeling safe. And that not feeling safe triggers fight or flight mode. And so I have panic attacks. I used to have them daily. Now I've reduced it based on the work that I've been doing. I've reduced it to like once every 2 weeks. And it went from being like level 9 my entire life to being like 2 now, which is incredible. And I feel like I will eventually be able to eradicate it completely. But it's not about getting rid of it. It's about checking in with yourself. And instead of numbing yourself to your anxiety, it's meditating and breathing into your belly and being like, hey, I'm here with you. Like, I'm here. Let's calm down.
I was going to ask, because I feel like there'd be people listening now that would want to know how you managed to bring it down.
Well, anxiety is a coping mechanism. It comes from something. It comes from not feeling like you were protected. Whether it was you fell as a child and you were crying for hours and no one heard you, or whether it was you were sexually abused, or, it's being unheard and being unprotected. And that's where anxiety stems from. So the second you know where it's coming from and why you have it is the moment you can then dive deeper and, use your adult self to heal your inner child. Yeah. And the inner child is the one that's screaming at you when you have anxiety. And so it's up to your adult self to help your inner child through it.
The last person I interviewed on this podcast is a guy called Johann Hari. He wrote a book called Lost Connections.
Okay, no, I haven't.
It's the subtitle of the book is Uncovering the Real Cures of Depression and Anxiety, and he talks about a lot of things in there. But one of the things he says is that these kinds of issues, anxiety and depression, are increasing in our generation, like millennials and younger. I've always wondered the impact that social media has had on that, and is it a causal factor of the increase? Do you think it is? I
absolutely think it is. Like I said, it's a tool to escape. So if you are feeling some kind of way, if you're feeling sad or anxious or unhappy or depressed, and instead of being with yourself, you're being on your phone, and then you're seeing all of these people who are happy and excited and, dressed amazing and face tuning their bodies and, on vacation in the Bahamas, what that does to you when you're feeling that way and you're using that to escape, it's devalidating what you're feeling. Sure. It's saying that what you're feeling doesn't matter, and what you're seeing is the only thing that matters. So I think it's making it 1,000 times worse.
Have you brought social media into your art in various ways?
I mean, I use social media as the platform to share my story.
But having it as part of the storylines within, is that ever something you've considered?
No, but the themes are all very relative. So the themes are very open to interpretation. So if you're reading something, it could very well come back to social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you became the CEO of Instagram and Facebook, right?
Yeah.
What would you do?
Oh my God, great question. Okay, so
she's pulling out
so this is my document. I got it. No, okay. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and Instagram and Facebook have essentially given everyone indirect permission to plagiarize and breach copyright of intellectual property. So what needs to happen is we need to take a huge step back or essentially forward and create a system within the platforms to, essentially create the source of original content.
Sure. Like content ID.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, and like at the moment when someone shares because, okay, firstly, people aren't aware of this and they need to be aware. Years ago, there was this huge viral outbreak that once something's on Instagram, it's owned by Instagram, but that's not true.
It's not true, yeah.
In the guidelines, in the bylaws or whatever, it states very clearly that if you are the owner of the content, you own it. And anyone who wants to use your content needs to seek permission first. And this idea of crediting isn't the correct way to do it. You actually have to seek permission first. So literally 100% of Instagram users are breaching copyright. And has Instagram made it easy to report? Absolutely not. You can't even do it through your phone. And to prove that you are the original content person is like, that is even harder to do. So it's just like, why isn't there a system in place where you can, who needs to make this technology where if something isn't the original source and you report it, it's taken down immediately, and it's like a B, C process. It's not like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
Yeah.
It's like 1, 2, and it's gone. And I think there needs to be a software implemented into the app where it can immediately find the source, and then anything else that isn't the source gets removed. And so I think that will change the way we use the platform too, and that will bring artists more eyes and more success because their content is now labeled as theirs as opposed to the internet's. And something that I've had to deal with for the past, since Sex and Takeout, that's when it really started happening, is thousands and thousands and thousands of accounts just using my work, and then brands seeing it and brands not knowing that it came from me, and so they start copying it. And I'm not just talking like little local brands. Local brands do it all the time. I'm talking like the major A-League brands doing my idea and getting other photographers and artists to do it, even though it's mine. And that wouldn't have happened if they knew where the source came from. And so it's just, I feel it. And that this isn't just on behalf of me, it's on behalf of artists everywhere.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the sort of like net loss of that, it's pretty tremendous.
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram are working on something. Well, they have content ID, but it doesn't work in the way that you've described. It's incredibly good at identifying like music and video at the moment, but I've not heard it be at all useful for.
Well, I feel like visual artists are the ones who we aren't on anyone's radar yet.
Sure.
I think we're the ones that are suffering the most in terms of the plagiarism. With music, it is, they have all the software to do that. With what other artists? Videos too. But with photography, And how do you even define IP? Like, because you can create something and then someone can create something similar, but that's their IP. So there's still a lot of like gray area, and so I feel like there needs to be an institution researching like deeply how to define IP laws. And then how can that be integrated into social media? Do you think social media, in terms of mental health impacts and societal impacts, this whole promise to make us more connected, but we probably spend less time together in person now than ever before. Do you think social media has had a net positive or net negative impact on the world? I think it's extremely positive for information and education and raising awareness of social and racial politics. I think it's extremely negative in terms of connection and human connection. So yes, it's great to keep informed with what your friends are up to and what everyone's up to and what society's up to. But the second you identify through digital instead of identifying through yourself, then there's a problem, because you're relying on the digital world to tell people who you are as opposed to you relying on you to tell people who you are. So this weekend, actually, really fun. My friend Tommy Sobel, he started this initiative called Brick. And what it is turning your phone into a brick so you can connect with everyone in the room. So your phone doesn't exist for however long his events go for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And so this week he put like 50 of us in Joshua Tree.
Right.
We put our phones in VCR cases and we sealed them with like candle wax, and then we kept them in our rooms, and then we were all kind of like forced to interact with each other, like a whole bunch of strangers. And honestly, the most liberating weekend I've had in such a long time.
All weekend?
All weekend, 3 days. Well, Friday to Sunday. And then there was a ceremony where we put the phones in the box, and then like on Sunday there's a ceremony to open it again. And, you know, it was just, I invited like 6 of my friends, and then we were all kind of like with all these people, and we're like, you know what, fuck it, like this is so fun. And so by the end of it, we walked away with all these new friends. We walked away so recharged and so connected to ourselves, because we were like, we weren't distracting ourselves with these phones. And oh my goodness, it's so life-changing. Like, you don't realize how addicted you are until you're off it.
Did you get withdrawals, though? Did you not want to...
Personally, no, because I essentially, like, and this is... I think this is something really important to know. Just because, you know, my Instagram is very busy, I don't define myself through it at all. And if anything, I try and avoid it as much as I can, because I won't get any work done. When I go to bed, I put my phone on airplane mode 2 hours before bed, sometimes 1 hour, depending on how long I'm working until. And then when I wake up, I don't turn it on for an hour.
Wow.
Because I want to be with myself and wake up and feel the morning and feel the air. And then when I'm ready to check my phone, I'll turn it off airplane mode, and then all the emails come in and all the texts and all the missed calls. And I'm like, cool, I'm ready to face the world because I've spent time with myself. And that's like, I really encourage anyone who's listening to do that, because it doesn't only advance your mental health in a positive way. You're also allowing yourself to rest through the night, knowing that nothing is going to wake you up when you check your phone. And then you're also giving your mind a rest too, because it's the same thing. No one, you know, there's not these people waiting for you until you want them to wait for you, you know?
Yeah, things like that I think are so important, but people don't really talk about these things because, again, social media as like a new technology, whatever, is fairly new. So there's no education. We're all kind of learning about it from videos we see or articles we read online. Do you think we should teach these kinds of things in schools and or in some way?
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, while we're talking about schooling, you know, we have been teaching the kids the same thing for the past however 100 years, and we have advanced so much as a society, and so I feel like everything the kids are learning in school right now are no longer relevant to how they should survive once they leave school, or even like not even when they graduate, when they leave the premise. Like, we are not preparing our children the way they need to be prepared. And until the schooling system needs to change entirely, because it's no longer relevant to learn math, English, science. We need to like craft the kids to learn based on behavioral traits and skill sets. And that doesn't exist. It's like they're all lumped and forced to do every single subject until they get to decide once they go to college which ones they want to major in. But they need to be majoring from the start in like whatever their skill sets lead them to do. Anyway. So
that you're clearly very passionate about that.
I don't think about it a lot, but I just know, like, I know how much we've changed, and it no longer makes sense for a kid who absolutely fucking sucks at maths to do maths. Like, you don't need to do it. we have iPhones now. We have calculators. Like, I'm not saying don't learn. Like, learn how to do the fundamentals, but you don't need to learn calculus.
Sure.
Like, I've never needed to apply calculus into my life. Like, I failed math in high school.
Same.
Like, it was my like spare subject that I just needed to do. So yeah, but like.
Do you want to have kids one day?
Absolutely.
And would you send them to how many?
Oh. I'm going to say 2 minimum.
Okay, 2 minimum. Would you
10 max? No. I'm joking.
Would you send them to like a normal school, or would you...
No.
You've already got this planned.
Yeah, no, I've thought about this. I think I would want to raise my children and give them the freedom to express, and I want to be able to observe them and see the things that they're good at, and then have them ultimately decide what they would prefer to do. And then hopefully I will be wealthy enough to have specific mentors come in to help them develop their skill sets. But 100% will make them learn 5 languages.
Really?
Yeah.
How many languages do you know?
I know 2. Oh, 2.5. Yeah. Arabic and some Italian.
What 5 languages would they learn?
Whatever languages will be most relevant at the time. But I'm going to say they have to know Arabic. They have to know, obviously, English and Spanish, because Spanish is extremely universal. I want to personally learn Japanese, but I feel like Mandarin's probably going to be more universal language. And then French or Italian, but that would be up to them.
Wow.
Yeah. But, you know, when they're young, they can do it so well. And I want to be able to move around to different countries while I'm raising my kids, so they are able to
see other
immerse in the lifestyle of the language they're learning. So,
why is language so important to you for your kids?
Because I travel a lot, and I don't feel as connected to a city knowing I can't speak the language. And so I want to be able to give them that power. And, you know, my life plan is in 4 years, 4 or 6 years, I'm going to take time off to raise kids and then learn these languages with them. So, yeah.
And travel with them to the countries.
With them, yeah. I'm hoping 4 years. I definitely can. I would have babies now. I love...
You need to find the right person, presumably. And
I mean, it's not even that. I have too much work to do right now, but in 4 years, I'm hoping it'll be a bit more chill.
And you need to find someone that's down to travel to all these countries with these babies, teaching them all these languages.
I mean, the partner is optional. I might even adopt. Like, who knows? Yeah. I'm super independent. Like, I don't know.
Are you misunderstood?
Am I misunderstood? Mm-hmm. In what context?
I'll just leave it there.
Hopefully not, because I try to be as transparent as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oftentimes, I would say when I was struggling with like insecure attachments, I feel like my love language was misplaced. And so, you know, my way of expressing love wasn't reciprocated. And that obviously drove me insane. But I've progressed so much now that I understand we all have different ways of communicating love. And I feel more at ease knowing that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my last question.
Okay.
It's been very interesting. We're sat at a table now. There are... how many chairs?
8.
There's 8 chairs. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to get rid of 2 chairs because that's too many. But let's say there's 6 chairs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other 2 have been pulled away. So technically there is 6. And me and you occupy 2 of them. There's 4 empty seats here. We're going to have a big dinner party. The phone's going to go into a cassette, whatever, a brick, whatever. Who do you invite anybody dead or alive? Who do you invite to this dinner party and why? And also, what are we going to be eating at this dinner party?
Okay. Such a fun question. This actually came up on Sunday and I'm stealing Noah's answers. So Noah and I were playing a game where we had to ask each other 5 questions, and that one came up, who would you bring to an island? And his answers were so good that I'm stealing them. This is not original. But I would bring my 5-year-old self.
Interesting. To the dinner party?
To the dinner party. Okay. I would bring God.
No, you got to say why. I want to know why.
Okay. Okay, so if my adult self right now can talk to my inner child, and she's traveling from the past into the future.
Sure.
So she gets to go back.
Okay.
I would love to have her at this dinner table to witness who she has become, and then be able to advise her. And I think in doing that, even though it won't change where I'm at now, it would be healing for me.
And what would you advise her? What would you say?
Oh, so many things. I think the thing that I didn't hear at all, and it would have probably saved my emotional state, I probably wouldn't have anxiety, is just knowing I was safe. And I wasn't alone, because I was in a room full of people all the time, and I felt the most unprotected. And it was because of things that everyone around me wasn't aware of. So I would tell her she was safe. I would tell her she wasn't alone, and I would tell her to fight and use her voice, because in our society as Middle Easterns, we are conditioned to stay silent as women. So I think I would love to tell her that. And then I would invite God. I would invite a higher power, whoever that is, and to just come and hang out. And then I'd probably invite Rami Malek, because I have a huge fascination with him and his characters that he portrays on television.
Interesting dynamic, this dinner party.
Oh, yeah.
God talking to your 5-year-old self and around really.
And then I'd ask who he would invite. And
so you'd let him bring a +1?
You can bring a +1, but they have to be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm very inspired by you. I think a lot of people are. As I said, you've... of all the people that I've brought onto this podcast, the hysteria when people found out that you were coming on was unmatched. And I think that speaks to the positive impact you're having on people by being your true self. And you're clearly incredibly talented. You're self-built. You manage yourself, as you said. You're a very self-made person. And I think that gives a lot of people a lot of power in themselves and their own self-belief. So thank you for being you. Thank you for the time today. And where do people find you? You're everywhere, but where can people find you if they want to reach out or check you out?
I think Instagram is probably the best place. It's just Sarah Bahbah, but it's actually pronounced Bahbah. But you can say Bahbah. That's fine. I've accepted it. Okay,
amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for providing a space for me to express.
No worries. Thank you for being so open. It's really refreshingly open. So thank you.